Good morning. A layer of snow falls on the capital overnight while Korea's central region receives a heavy snowfall advisory, which could mean a slippery early morning commute. The National Assembly has passed 2015's fiscal spending bill on schedule. The first time since 2002, the December 2nd deadline is met. Supersize the shopping experience at these locations which offer the X factor. We'll get a look at these mega malls. The cold and dry winter can do a number on you. See what could help keep your home environment comfortable on Korea Today, Wednesday, December 3rd, 2014.
From Arirang News, this is Korea Today.
And a good Wednesday morning. Thank you for joining us on Korea Today. I'm Kim Young alongside Jin Ju and Kim Min-jung.
Good morning, everyone. Those of you joining us from Korea, take a peek out your window. You'll be pleasantly or not so pleasantly surprised to see that overnight snow has snuck up on us. Is this bad news or good news or what? The moment I saw it, I thought I need to call Young to ask him to push my car, which is an annual occurrence.
Yeah, that's right. It actually occurs several times a year. Right?
And speaking about cars, in a weather like this, you really have to be extra cautious because the snows on the road have turned into ice and it's really slippery out there. So for those of you who are driving, do take extra caution, and for commuters, don't be sure not to slip on the roads or on your way to work.
Right.
And the road crews have been busy trying to spray some of that salt into the roads to keep the roads from freezing. But nevertheless, if you are out on the roads, you do need to just leave just a little bit earlier and be careful there. For today's weather updates, we'll go ahead and go to Jeon Sung-cho and see how the conditions are outside. She joins us from Banpo.
Good morning to you, Sung-cho. How's it looking out there?
Good morning, guys. I'm reporting live from Hanggang. As you can see here, a light snowfall of some 1 centimeter dusted the greater Seoul area, covering streets, buildings, and cars with a layer of fluffy flakes. The roads have been worked on to keep them from icing up, but as Jinju has mentioned earlier on, some of them are still very slippery, so it's best if you take public transportation instead of driving for today. Heavy snow advisories have been issued by the Korean Meteorological Administration. It's mainly over the western section of the central regions, the lower half of Gyeonggi-do, some parts of western Gangwon-do and northern Chungcheongbuk-do, and the entire Chungcheongnam-do province. In those regions, especially in the mountainous areas, up to 15 centimeters of snow is expected until tomorrow, and from 2 to 7 centimeters towards the west, towards the south, What's causing all of this is the cold air mass from the southwest colliding with the warm air mass over the West Sea. So you can expect pretty much snow pretty much all across the country except for the east and the south coastal regions for today. Back to you guys.
It looks like she's standing on a giant ice rink over there. Thank you, Sung-cho, for that. All right, so do be careful on the road. And Young, do expect a call from me later on.
Well, it's not that bad, so I'm hoping that it's not going to happen. I'm pretty sure sometime this winter there is going to be a situation when me and Jinju both push your car.
And my car too, Young.
All the cars. We'll just push all the cars.
All right, we'll get a check on our headlines this morning. Meeting the legal deadline for the first time in 12 years, the National Assembly has passed the budget bill for next year, which amounts to 375.4 trillion won. That's about 36.5 billion US dollars, up 5.5% from this year. The ruling and opposition parties reached an agreement on major points of contention on Tuesday, including providing free child care services and corporate tax rates. The parties also ratified Korea's free trade bills signed with Australia and Canada, which aim to lift tariffs for goods traded with those countries. The National Assembly also passed the government's proposal to raise cigarette prices starting next year by 2,000 won or $2 per pack from the current price of 2,500 won on average. The parties also agreed to extend the deployment of Korean peacekeeping troops in Lebanon, South Sudan, Somalia, and the United Arab Emirates by another year.
No survivors have been found in the ongoing rescue efforts for the 52 missing from the Korean fishing boat Arirang 501, which sank off the coast of Russia's Far East in the Bering Sea on Monday. 4 lifeboats were found empty during rescue efforts, which resumed on Tuesday after being suspended due to bad weather and rough seas. Additional vessels have been mobilized with 6 additional ships and U.S. Coast Guard aircraft joining the efforts. So far, 1 Russian inspector, 3 Filipinos, and 3 Indonesians have been rescued. Families of the missing crewmen alleged Tuesday that the sinking was the result of reckless fishing in bad weather, claiming Sajo Industries, the ship's owner, pushed ahead with fishing despite dangerous conditions. The fisheries firm made an apology and vowed to make all possible efforts to rescue the missing, but emphasized that the final decision in proceeding with fishing activities is left to the captain.
Seoul has vowed to tighten its crackdown on Chinese fishing boats who operate illegally in Korean waters. The Korean Coast Guard, under the Ministry of Public Safety and Security, held a meeting of senior commanders on Tuesday and revealed plans to extend the crackdown on illegal fishing by foreign fishing boats until the end of the year. Since November, the Coast Guard has been operating a special task force in its exclusive waters involving 4 vessels and helicopters to fight poaching by illegal fishermen and fought off some 3,400 fishing boats. So far, 43 Chinese fishing boats have been seized, twice the amount seen during the same period last year.
Good morning. It's time to run through the front pages of your newspapers. Now, you heard earlier the National Assembly passed the government's 2015 budget at a plenary session yesterday. It was the first time in 12 years that the rival parties managed to meet the legal deadline mandated by the Constitution. All the papers carry the story. We'll take a look at a couple of them. First on 동아일보. And the headline says, National Assembly passes 2015 budget bill, meets deadline for first time in 12 years. So the approval finally ended weeks of bipartisan bickering, as you see in the sub-headlines calling for the increase of next year's budget to about $336 billion. Lawmakers cut about $538 million from the government's original draft budget submitted in September. Now, most of the amendments to budget-related tax bills also got passed, except those regarding inheritance tax laws and gift tax laws. Now, some more details on the budget on a different story on 중앙일보. This one is at the bottom of the front page. This one says 2 years added to income tax exemption period for purchases on credit cards. As I just mentioned, the governing Saenuri Party and major opposition New Politics Alliance for Democracy succeeded in ironing out their differences on details in tax-related bills, which were part of 13 auxiliary budget plans. And the two agreed to expand tax cuts for purchases on credit cards as well. Now, switching gears, going to another local headline on the side of 경향신문. This one is about the recent CSAT exam, and it says only perfect score for Math B will get first rank. So test scores for the 2015 Suneung exam, or the College Scholastic Ability Test that test takers took in the middle of last month, were announced yesterday, and it reportedly turns out that the latest test is the easiest one in the history of Suneung, especially in the subjects math and English. Now, these two subjects were particularly a lot easier compared to last year's exam, producing quite a lot of perfect scores. The total number of perfect scores for the English subject was 3.4%, and for the Math B section exam, it reached 4.3% of the entire test takers, a record high in the history of the exam, and that's why only these perfect scores will be able to make it into the first rank. Meanwhile, the Korean B section exam was the hardest set, with natural science found to have had relatively difficult questions as well. Hence, these subjects will likely play the deciding factors for the exam takers when applying to their schools of desire, and the scores will be released and delivered onto the students today. Finally, we'll go to some business news on the Korea Economic Daily. This one on the side again.
And it's about North Korean money, and the article is called "Even Rural Areas of North Korea Reject North Korean Currency." It turns out that North Korean money has been becoming more and more neglected, even within North Korean communities and the people's daily lives, particularly following the 2009 currency reform. According to sources, it's been a long time since vendors selling goods near the border with China have even accepted North Korean currency. Instead, most business transactions are made via the yuan, the dollar, and the euro. In a vicious cycle, the value and attraction of the North Korean bill has fallen even more drastically in recent days. And that was a look at our local headlines for this Wednesday. Now following are the stock numbers from Tuesday.
In global news this morning, officials in Lebanon say they have in custody a wife and a child of the Islamic State group's leader. We'll take a closer look at this story and other global headlines with our Eunice Kim, who is at the news center. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
What do we know about these people in custody?
Well, Minjung, little is known about the private life of Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, much less that of his wife, but she has been identified as an Iraqi, just like her husband, with the name Saja al-Dulaimi. Now, CNN is reporting she's a powerful figure within the Islamic State group, citing a source with knowledge of the arrest. Lebanese security forces say the two were picked up some 10 days ago when they tried to enter Lebanon from Syria with forged papers and are currently being held for questioning. Now, the child's DNA is being tested to confirm that, in fact, he or she is Baghdadi's child. A local Lebanese newspaper said their detainment came in coordination with Foreign Intelligence Services, that's what they called it, and Dulaimi's arrest apparently was part of a planned operation. Now, she was one of 150 women released as part of a prisoner swap with al-Qaeda-linked militants in Syria back in March, and reports say Baghdadi, who was declared the caliph by his Islamic State followers earlier this year, is believed to have 2 or 3 wives. Meanwhile, in Kenya, the jihadist group Al-Shabaab has struck again, leaving behind a trail of bodies belonging to people it deemed as non-Muslims. 36 corpses were discovered in a quarry on Tuesday in the attack's grisly aftermath. The quarry is located in a border village near Somalia, where the jihadist terror group is based. A spokesman for Al-Shabaab said its militants had separated and killed non-Muslim workers from the Muslims in what it called retaliation for the Kenyan government's raid on a mosque last month. Nairobi has been fighting the Al-Shabaab group since 2011. Meanwhile, Kenya's national police chief has resigned as the country's President Uhuru Kenyatta said the strike constituted, quote, a war, and a war we must win.
Now, in Hong Kong, the pro-democracy movement could be taking a sharp turn. The leaders of Occupy Central said they would turn themselves in to police today.
That's right. Occupy Central, of course, is the group that led the pro-democracy movement in Hong Kong in the early days before it was overtaken by student leaders. Professors Benny Tai and Chun Kin Man and also Pastor Chu Yu Ming said their surrender was to take responsibility for the months-long sit-ins that, remember, the Hong Kong government has long deemed as illegal. They urged protesters to also end their street demonstrations for the sake of their safety and the original intention of love and peace, and take the umbrella movement, as it's called, to a new stage by putting down deep roots in the community. Now, Occupy Central said it will continue their fight for democracy in Hong Kong through public debates and community education, but it is unclear how the largely young demonstrators will react. We know that ahead of this announcement, student leader Joshua Wong said he will start a hunger strike with his peers to pressure the Hong Kong government for more talks.
We'll keep an eye on that story. Thank you, Eunice.
You bet.
Now stay with us on Korea Today. We're going to take you to supersized shopping malls today. If you haven't been to the recently opened Lotte World Mall, that's the talk of the town. These complexes offer not only shopping, but culture, tasty eats, as well as leisure activities. We'll check out the hottest Seoul malls in a moment, so don't go away.
Some people may think that a trip to an art gallery is a quiet, ambient one, like a trip to the library, but there's an exhibition that's really changing some of that up with some music and a little bit of something else. And Im Yoon-hee joins us with more on that. Good morning, Yoon-hee.
Good morning.
So this is like our kind of party, right?
Right, so that's something else we'll keep for secret for the report. But I have today a couple of exhibitions at some galleries that will really maybe help you get over that midweek slump. Now, especially, I have one exhibition that is providing a rather new art experience for many, so take a look. From the outside, this looks like just another trendy club in Seoul. But take a step inside, and you'll find yourself immersed in a rich art experience. The Jean Gallery is now home to a trendy new work of art, inspired by, and some actually created by, the leader of pop art, Andy Warhol. Some of Warhol's most recognizable creations have been reinvented, from paintings to multimedia art, with fun pieces decorating the walls. Lights and a couple cocktails in hand, it's a new way to enjoy some of Seoul's most eye-catching works of art.
Linda was a fantastic photographer, and I hope that in this exhibition you'll be able to see many aspects of her work, of her great work.
The legendary Paul McCartney of the Beatles isn't the only artist in the family. His former wife, Linda McCartney, who passed away in 1998, was one of the most well-recognized photographers of the 20th century. She captured some of the most famous musicians of the 60s and 70s, rock and roll legends, including her husband at the time. She had access to places most photographers are kept out of, and she documented their lives through over 200 photos in this collection. Korean artist Nam Kyung-min has also opened a solo exhibition with work that echoes the famous Korean traditional painter Kim Hong-do, known by many as Danwon. He was a key figure in his day with his new style of paintings, and now artist Nam takes a contemporary painting approach to the traditional.
Now, a contemporary approach to the traditional. It almost looks like a tribute to Kim Hong-do, also known as Danwon.
Right, so this is actually not something new for artist Nam to sort of take an older artist's work and to put it into her own. And so she also has done this with very well-known artists such as Rembrandt and Van Gogh. And it's really interesting, if you go to her pieces, they're beautiful paintings. You could actually see characteristics and traits of artists from the past. So a very unique blend of different types of artists.
Okay, we saw an interview with Paul McCartney there. Member of the Beatles. They're largely responsible for the British invasion which happened, and they're also revolutionaries in the field of music, and it looks like Linda McCartney has veered away from tradition as well with some of her old photography.
So she set some marks for her own. That's right. So Linda McCartney actually is the first female photographer to be covered on the cover of the Rolling Stones magazine. So that's a huge feat for her as well. But with her, she really had this unique ability to access these artists, these musicians, and she really was known for her candid, raw approach to these photographs. So while other photographers really focused on maybe technique and style, she was going for these emotions and these feelings that she really captured in these photos. So a very fun exhibition to go check out.
Okay, well, it looks like we do have a lot of the contemporary, the modern, and something to look back at the past.
That's right.
All right, thank you very much for that.
It was a pleasure.
All right, stay with us on Korea Today. Winter brings along with it cold and dry air. And how do you deal with that at home especially? Well, we do have some items that's going to help you fix some of those problems, some humidifiers as well as other mats that actually use the ondol technology of Korea, heating up the air as well as the floor. So don't let the bone-chilling cold and ultra-dry conditions get you down. Hot Items is bringing heaters and humidifiers to the studio. Everything you need for the winter.
Now, the list of recipients for this year's Artist of the Year Awards has been announced yesterday.
That's right. The awards recognize Korean actors and actresses who've made the biggest contributions to the art scene in Korea. Let's find out who's won the awards with our Seoul. Good morning to you.
Good morning, guys. That's right. So the ceremony, it's hosted by the Shin Young-gyun Arts and Culture Foundation and is now in its 4th year of running. So let's get right into it and see who's been selected. The Grand Prize Award will go to actor Choi Min-sik for his convincing role as Admiral Lee Sun-shin in the summer blockbuster Myeongnyang or Roaring Currents. While the Rookie of the Year Award will go to Park Yu-cheon, who received a lot of praise for his performance in another sea movie, Haemu. The ceremony will be held in Seoul next Tuesday evening.
Now, Park Yu-cheon has made a great transition from an idol star to an actor, and I really think he deserves this award.
Right.
Absolutely.
Both
And
very good actors.
Right.
And that's what the online responses said. There's not a lot of room for debate here, you know, because they all deserved it. But this next issue certainly raised a few eyebrows.
Wow.
Do you guys remember the 멍때리기 contest a while back?
Oh, the one Young almost won? The one where you space out for the longest, right?
Well, there was supposed to be a similar contest this weekend, but this time to see which couple could kiss the longest. So here's a rundown. It was supposed to be held this Saturday at the Gwanghwamun Plaza, and to participate, you had to pay 5,000 won, or around $5. And the longest kissing couple would have won the total sum of everyone's entrance fees. Early last night, there were over 300 people who signed up for this. But unfortunately for them, there was a lot of criticism from the public about the contest in general, such as this response: "This is ridiculous, the world is coming to an end, whatever happened to class and decorum?" So, and a lot of responses along these lines. So in the end, the organizer had to say, you know, I've had enough of all this negative pressure, I can't handle it anymore, and he called the whole thing off.
Can you imagine the Korean elderly population watching the young men and women going at it, at a kissing competition in a society, right? Confucian values that we have.
And the weather is just too cold for any kissing outdoors.
How can you kiss for so long? Because on a side note, a similar contest was held in Thailand, but the winning couple there, they kissed for over 54 hours.
What?
So, you know,
that's over 2 days.
So imagine doing that in sub-zero weather. Now, switching gears completely, I've got another question to ask you guys. What matters most to you in life?
Family. Right away.
Well, the Samsung Life Insurance Institute asked the same question to 1,500 Korean adults, and here are the results. Both men and women chose health as the most important thing. But the next response is there's a difference. Men choose spouse over their children, but for women, it was children over spouse. Wrapping up, here's another latest study result, this time about mobile apps and which country downloads the most. So, according to the latest study from InMobi, Indonesians downloaded the most number of apps in the 3rd quarter this year at 6 apps per person. The next 3 countries were Asian countries as well, including Korea at 2.7 apps per person. And some of the most downloaded apps in Korea include Naver Web Portal, lock screen advertisement web application Cash Slide, and of course, the messaging application KakaoTalk.
Just about everyone I know has Kakao, at least the Kakao Talk.
Right, and the Naver Portal application.
Yeah, I thought that as well.
Me too. Interesting there. All right, thank you, Misorang.
You're welcome.
Now, shopping has become really easy with internet shopping, but nothing really beats the real thing of going to a shopping mall and looking around and seeing and trying on all the things that you want, right? And we're going to take a look at some of the mega shopping malls here in Korea with Damien Furtado joining us this morning. Good morning, Damien.
Good morning, everyone. Now, before we get started, let me ask you, do you guys go shopping a lot?
Yeah, the answer has to be yes.
Yeah, for me, I'm like most guys, just a quick in and out. I find what I need and just go and out.
Well, when it's cold outside, a lot of people prefer to be indoors rather than outside, especially when the weather is as cold as it is these days. So this is when the number of people seeking large indoor malls tends to jump. Now, malls are great. I mean, not only can you go shopping, you can also enjoy cultural and leisure activities all in one spot. Now, as the number of mall goers rises, people have been actually using new terms to describe those who hang out at malls, such as mollingjok, which literally translates to malling tribes or mallies. Now, I happen
People
to be...
who spend a lot of time in malls.
Yes, exactly. Now, I happen to be one of those mall goers myself. So today, I'll be telling you a little bit about some of the hottest shopping malls in Seoul. Check out this video. Now, the first stop of our mall tour is Lotte World Mall, which opened just this October. In the Jamsil area, the large leisure town Lotte World has long been a landmark. But since opening right across the street from Lotte World Mall is fast rising as the area's new colossal symbol. Wow! From the outside, it looks huge. Now, Lotte World Mall is the largest shopping complex, and it's always being described with superlatives such as the first, the greatest, and the best. Here we go. It's only been a month since it opened, but some 4 million people have visited the mall already.
Wow.
Living up to its status as the largest mall in the country, some 1,000 shops can be found here. And shopping isn't the only thing you can do here. Various other features, including a movie theater and an aquarium, are attracting not only local residents, but foreign visitors as well. Here we are at Charlotte Stairs. Now, everyone who comes by here stops to take a picture. It's one of the most famous attractions at Lotte World Mall. Now, these two 30-meter C-shaped stairways meet here, and it's said that they symbolize classic and contemporary coming together.
1,000 stores.
Now, it would be hard to see this giant mall thoroughly on foot. So I've decided to hop on one of these scooters.
Especially on one of those Segway things. I wish.
The Avenuel Mall, created like an annex to the World Mall, is the country's largest luxury brand department store. It's housing a total of 225 brand stores from the basement floor to the 6th floor.
Ooh.
Now, it looks like all the luxury brands of the world are here.
Gotta stay away from that area.
And what's a shopping mall tour without some window shopping? There's an entire floor dedicated to menswear with clothes of various styles. So it was quite fun for me too. I did a bit of shopping.
And modeling.
Next, we head to the restaurant floor, which is the 5th floor. In its efforts to become the mall to represent Seoul, Lotte World Mall went above and beyond to impress its visitors. One such effort can be seen in the section dubbed Seoul 3080, which is a recreation of the city in the 1930s. I thought I knew a lot about Seoul, having lived here for 7 years, but I never thought I would see a piece of Seoul from the 1930s. It was quite impressive to see the trolley from the pages of history recreated.
I think it's great that I can explain this to my kids for the first time.
The trolley reminds me of when I used to go to school. I like that I have stories to tell my son and grandson.
Can you hear the beautiful sounds of the instruments? This is 29th Street, named after the actual address of Lotte World Mall. Now, what makes this street particularly special is the live performances that are put on every day. It's quite something to hear live music while shopping. Oh, nice. Good job. Now, our next destination is Times Square, the shopping mall located in Yeongdeungpo. Now a big part of the Yeongdeungpo Commercial District, which is the center of the capital's northwestern area, Times Square boasts some 5 million visitors per month. Marking the 5th anniversary of its opening, Times Square recently refurbished 82 of its 200 stores. The number of multi-brand stores has been increased, and the restaurant section has been upgraded to meet the trends of the younger generations. Now, it's a place frequented mostly by the younger generation,
You know,
so naturally
just as
couples are
I've
seen
heard,
everywhere.
this place is full of couples. Well, that means I shouldn't be alone, right? This is my date, Jennifer. Hi! Shall we go?
Well, Tom Hanks had Wilson, right?
Now, as most of the visitors are in their 20s and 30s, most of the 200 stores are those that target the young buyers. Every year, a proposal event is held to help young couples confess their love and serenade their significant others in front of everyone.
What if they say no?
That'd be embarrassing.
Can't under that circumstance.
Right
That's also
now,
a good tactic.
an event for couples' Christmas photos is being held. I even submitted one myself.
With
All right.
Jennifer.
And aside from these events, there are also places where you can go on a healing date.
So this is where couples can get a massage together. Now, apparently, they offer a package, which is a couples massage.
I'm so sorry Jennifer couldn't take part in the foot massage.
Now, the couples massage is a warm and romantic way to enjoy your date indoors. Now, of course, it's a great way to relieve some stress too. Strong hands. Now, the atrium is a large open space with a glass ceiling that lets you see the sky from indoors. At this very place, cultural events are held every weekend for people to gather and enjoy music. Performances range from those of popular singers, indie musicians, jazz musicians, and even musical casts. Now, when the sun sets, there's a special place you should go with your special someone. The Sky Park is one of the hidden gems of Times Square. Now, this is a place where the clear sky and nature meet to create a beautiful resting spot. Isn't the night view just amazing? Looking at the view with all the high-rises and the Times Square itself behind us, I wrapped up the mall tour with my friend Jennifer by my side.
And you woke up and bright and early and brought her in here.
Yes, she's joining us.
Jennifer didn't really like you very much.
Yeah.
Do you like Damien? Yes, I do. I want to go back to him. Here you go.
Lucky you have Jennifer.
All right.
Now, although I won't be able to take in that event, until how long will the couples event last?
Well, the couples photo event will continue until Christmas Day. And you can participate on the website. So get out there and make some great memories with your boyfriend or your girlfriend.
But first make a boyfriend or a girlfriend.
That's definitely, yes. Also, on the last day of December, the Countdown Seoul 2015 festival will be held, so you can ring in the new year with some great music. And I was told they're going to be releasing countless balloons from the 5th floor balcony, so get there early and get a good view.
So we've got some great events going on. Now, Lotte World, it just, as you mentioned, it just opened very recently, right? But there are some people who still don't know how to get there exactly. What are some of the best ways to get there? Subway, transit,
parking
commute?
is apparently
Parking
quite
is supposed to be tough.
Well, they have a large, extensive parking complex underground, but the best way is public transportation. You can get there by bus. You can also take subway lines 2 or 8. Now, Lotte World Mall has actually just made itself even more accessible via public transportation by creating a large underground walkway/plaza. It's right underneath the Jamsil Station intersection, and it connects lines 2 and 8 with the bus transfer center. They're also constructing a brand new bus transfer station underground right now.
Right.
I was at the Lotte World Mall this past weekend, a humongous place. You need to wear sneakers or something comfortable to get
You wear
around.
heels, let me guess.
Yeah, I regretted the decision. Now, there are other malls, of course, the COEX that recently renovated and opened. Tell us about those.
Yeah, there's quite a few. The first one, the IFC Mall. It was the first shopping mall built in Yeouido, which is a huge, office district, major office district, and it's leading the wave of changes in Yeouido that have been targeting the young office workers with trendy and compact shopping venues. We've also got the Yongsan Mall, the Yongsan iPark Mall, which is located next to Yongsan Station and Shin-Yongsan Station. It's very popular with local residents, but it's also frequented by many, many foreign visitors. I had been there many times myself, actually, when I first came to Korea. And COEX, of course, the first shopping mall in Seoul and the largest underground shopping complex in Asia. It's all one floor, so it's really easy to get around. Now they've just finished their first renewal in 14 years. So they've just reopened their doors to the public last month, billing themselves as a modern, advanced shopping center.
All right, Damien, thank you so much for a look at that. I mean, those are some of the malls that are frequented by a lot of people. And then, as you mentioned, COEX did go through a renovation, so great places to visit.
Can we take a look at Jennifer once again? I see a striking resemblance between Jennifer and Jinju. So cute together.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Damien.
Thanks for having me.
All right, it did snow a lot overnight. I wonder what the conditions are like on the road right now.
All right, we'll go to Songcho for a look at the weather as well as the conditions, as you mentioned, live.
Songcho?
Over to you, Songcho.
Yes, I'm out here at Hangang Park and it's frigid cold outside here in Seoul at -4 degrees Celsius. The frigid wind chill is also making it even colder than the actual temperature, and it doesn't matter how many layers of clothes I'm wearing. My body started shivering right away after just a couple of minutes of staying outside. This cold snap will continue through early next week as we have a cold air mass lingering in the upper atmosphere. Morning temperatures are 3 to 4 degrees higher than yesterday in general, but they still remain well below freezing, such as -8 in Cheoron of Gangwon-do province. A lot of snow is also affecting the entire peninsula, except for the south and the east coastal regions. More than 10 centimeters of flurries will cover the western part of the central regions until tomorrow, and from 2 to 7 centimeters in the rest. There's about 1.7 centimeters of snow piled up on the ground here in Seoul, so be careful on your way out to work this morning. Try to take public transportation if you can, and definitely dress warmly for today. Now let's move on over to take a closer look at today's temperature readings. Midday highs are single-digit numbers in most cities. Seoul will stay only at 1 degree Celsius and Gangneung at 3, while it's a slightly warmer day for the southern regions, such as 9 in Busan and 10 in Jeju. This is all for me with the weather forecast.
Now, of course, football is one of those sports that's played despite the frigid temperatures and snow, and you really do have to respect the players there. And of course, speaking of which, we are going to kick things off in the KFA, where it was announced on Tuesday that a technical conference will be held starting on Thursday to review the past year. And for the first time, national team head coach Uli Stilke is set to make a presentation where he'll talk about how to go about improving Korean football and also present the current status of the team going into the Asian Cup in Australia. Then a conference which will take place for 2 days, Olympic team head coach Lee Kwang-jung is also set for a presentation to discuss the success of the Asian Games team and his plans leading up to the 2016 Rio Summer Games. Now, they say winning an award at the KBO award ceremony is special, but many players would also agree that the Players' Choice Award is even more special since it's voted by your peers. And on Tuesday, Nexon Heroes second baseman Seok Chung received the second MVP honor of the year. Now, after being named the 2014 KBO MVP, his peers voted him the Player of the Year during the 2014 KBO Players' Choice Awards, giving him his second MVP honors this year. This comes after setting a new KBO record in hits with a total of 201 hits. Meanwhile, NC Dino's Park Min-ho received his second Rookie of the Year honors, this time voted on by his peers. And staying in baseball and on to the ongoing contract talks between the San Diego Padres and Kim Kwang-hyun, who was recently posted for $2 million by the Major League team. in hopes of getting a contract. The lefty left to San Diego on Tuesday. Now, unlike LA Dodgers lefty Lee Hyun-jin, who stayed in Korea throughout his contract talks with the Dodgers, Kim Kwang-hyun decided to speed up the contract's negotiation by heading over to San Diego himself. And while there aren't any reports on how close the two sides are, many believe that he should be able to sign a major league deal within a week. And now finishing things off, former NBA bad boy Dennis Rodman has visited North Korea before, and he's become quite a buddy with the North's young leader Kim Jong-un. Now, apparently Kim Jong-un would love to have Lionel Messi visit North Korea this time. Now, according to Han Eun-kyung, a North Korean committee member of the AFC, Kim Jong-un is a big fan of Lionel Messi and would love to see him make a visit to North Korea. Han added that many kids in North Korea look up to the Argentinian star and dream of becoming a football star like Lionel Messi. And that's going to wrap it up for me. This has been SJ. Have a great rest of the day and see you guys again for your sports needs.
You know, it's just too cold these days, and even here in the studio. And if you can see, we have taken our shoes off because of this warm ondol mat we have in the studio.
Yes. In fact, winter is definitely upon us. Since December, temperatures have been plummeting here in Seoul. In fact, it even snowed on December 1st, which was pretty cool. But that does signal the fact that it might be a very long and cold winter. So I brought into the studio today on Hot Items several heaters and humidifiers that will help us all get through the winter in one piece. And that's starting with, of course, what you mentioned we've got here on the ground, something that all Koreans and people who've been to Korea during the winter know and love, and that is the ondol heating system, right?
It's Korea's traditional heating system where the heat from the fireplace runs through the floor to the room, making it really warm and sometimes really hot.
Right.
Right.
Well, this is a little bit different, though. This is the DIY hot water ondol heating system, and it's a little bit different because, as the name implies, you can actually easily assemble it at home yourself very easily and conveniently. So it's really cool, and the panels themselves are very light and thin as well. In fact, they are made of a material called galvarium. Now, galvarium sounds pretty high-tech, and that's because it is. In fact, it conducts heat 3 times more efficiently than a regular ondol heating system, so it's much warmer as well.
So how do you install this system?
Well, putting it together at home is very simple. In fact, you simply connect the panels yourself, connect the hoses to them, as we can see here in the video. And as you can notice as well, it's done all by hand. You don't need any tools whatsoever. So simple to assemble for anybody at home. You connect the hoses right here, and then you pour the water inside, you turn it on, and you have that sweet ondol heating. You see the kids enjoying it right there.
So it's run with hot water.
That's right.
All right, and let's move on to this heating system over here.
Yes, we have something else very interesting here as well. This right here is the S-warmer. Now, this is in fact the world's first heating device to use far infrared light. This is the heating device of the future. Now, that sounds a little bit crazy and maybe a little unsafe as well, but in fact, it's received safety certification both in Japan and Europe that ensure that it emits less than half of what's called the EMC. Now, that sounds a little bit high-tech as well, scientific jargon, but in layman's terms, basically it means that it is very safe for you and your family. And speaking of safe, you can see here that the heat, it's very nice, right? You can feel it coming out.
It's warm.
But you can touch it and you won't get burned. You can lay your hand on it.
For the other heating devices we see, if you put your hand here, you probably get a burn on your hands.
Exactly.
But this one, it's totally safe. So you can stick it underneath the desk.
Yes, you can do that.
And even on the floor, as you can see behind Jesse.
You can put it on the floor as well. And you can take a look here too, putting paper on it as well. And it does not light on fire.
And it's totally
which is
safe,
very good.
even for children, I guess.
That's right. Absolutely. And now it's also very light. As we can see, we've got one right here. I can pick it up very easily. It weighs only 1.7 kilograms, so it's very easy to carry around with you and to set up at the office under your desk, which is basically the main purpose for
because
it.
Usually when we try to get a heating device in the office, it usually takes up too much space, or you are worried about whether it will burn your clothes or not. But like, even if you stick it right beneath that desk of yours, it'll be totally safe, it'll stay warm, and it's even light.
Yeah.
You don't even have to worry about it falling down.
Absolutely. So, and it's very light. Yeah, that's an absolutely good thing to point out. Now you can use it in the bedroom as well. Not only can you affix it under the desk, but you can put it on the stand, as you can see right there, and as we've done here in the studio. So it's very multi-purpose and very dynamic. You can use it anywhere. So a very cool device.
Right.
And now, yes, I would like to introduce something very cool. As we take a look over here, you can see we've got a variety of humidification going on here in the studio.
But it doesn't look like one, especially the small one over there.
Yeah, it looks like a little donut, doesn't it? Yeah, this right here is what's called the fog ring, and it is a portable humidifier that you can carry around with you wherever you need to go. You could bring it to the office. You could even bring it to the coffee shop, although you might get a few strange looks.
It's small enough to carry in your pocket.
Absolutely, and you simply turn it on with the touch of a button, and let's see, got to get all the water out here. Well, that one isn't working too well.
So the sensor is supposed to work when you put it in the water, right?
Yes, absolutely. Ah, there we go. Now it should work just fine. There we go. It wasn't on. That was my fault.
So you just need to connect it to a USB pot or your computer or whatever. Then the humidifier starts working, right?
Yeah. And the other cool thing is it's self-cleaning, so you never have to worry about taking it apart and cleaning it.
Oh, self-cleaning.
Yeah, so that's really cool. And what we have beside it right here, speaking of cleaning, this is the micro clean pot. Now, the reason it has that name is because of the way you can clean it. If you can go ahead right there and pour water onto the bowl.
Can I just pour it in?
Yeah, and right there, that's all of the components inside and out from the micro clean pot. They're all completely waterproof, so you can wash them at home just using regular soap and water. So very convenient. You don't have to worry about damaging it at all.
You know, the concern that people used to have with humidifiers is that you can't see with your own eyes whether it's cleaned thoroughly enough, or you have to change the filter every time you use it. But this way, we can just see how clean we have washed it. And
yeah, absolutely. Now, the other great thing is, compared to a lot of other humidifiers, you can see right here, the gentleman here is washing it just with regular water and soap in the sink. Now, it almost even looks like a salad bowl, but it's not that multi-purpose.
It's just like doing your dishes.
Yeah, exactly. Very simple, very easy to clean. Now, the other cool thing is it's also a little portable as well. Not quite as portable as the fog ring, but this is definitely something you can easily take with you to the office. And it floats in water. This is a big point about it.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Most humidifiers actually have their own hot water, water supply that they use to emit the water particles. But this device here actually uses the water that it's floating on, and for this reason, it's received a lot of awards for design and innovation at various conventions and fairs. So definitely quite an innovative product.
Wow.
And now, lightening up the ambience a little bit, right over here is our next item.
It looks like a fountain.
Yeah, it is almost like a fountain, in fact. This is a garden and a humidifier all in one. It's the Healing Multi-Purpose Plant Humidifier by Green Tobat, and it is very cool. It looks very beautiful, and you mentioned the waterfall effect. In fact, it was designed with the whole waterfall concept in mind, and the water itself goes through 12 different steps. Has to be processed 12 times.
12 different steps?
Yes.
Where?
And the water itself actually emits anyons, which is very good for your health, and it also helps to clean up any particles or dust in the air too.
And with the plants there, it looks like a nice fountain. It looks like a fountain, and it'll be a great interior item for you.
It's a great piece of decor as well as being healthy and allowing you to grow your own kind of personal garden inside the home.
So you can choose the plants you want to go in
Exactly, and you can place 8 of them in total around it. And the great thing is the water that is emitted from the humidifier itself actually passes through the plants, so it keeps them vibrant and healthy. You don't have to worry about tending to them all the time.
Wow.
So that's pretty cool. So as winter continues to get colder and colder, and a lot of us are bundled up inside the home. Of course, we have to go to work as we are here today in the studio.
But we can carry these items to the office,
yeah,
right?
Absolutely. That's a great point. The ondol heating system, maybe not so much.
But like this
but
heating
definitely
system
the S warmer,
and
definitely the
those
fog ring.
humidifiers.
Yeah, all the humidifiers. And setting up something like this in the home is a beautiful way to fight the cold and fight the dry air of winter as well.
Some really great ideas here.
Yeah.
How do you guys like it?
You know, I'm really into that plant thing over there because you get to kill 8 birds with 1 stone, or 9 birds actually. You can put up to 8 plants over there, and you don't have to water them all. You just go ahead and refill that water. And not only that, this is the best natural way of keeping your surroundings and your home environment humidified, I think. So this, I'm into this.
You guys need to take your shoes off.
You brought up a great point. You can bring these humidifiers to your coffee shop.
I believe I brought up that point.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You can put that in your
when
coffee?
you're done with your coffee, you just pour water into it.
Wow.
And then dunk this baby right in here, and then you have a personal humidifier on the go.
So anywhere,
perfect. Can you hold that for us? And then, because dry conditions cannot be good for your skin, really, and for your health overall. So turn it on, please. All right, this thing's not working at the moment. But
well, let's try this Ondor because the Ondor system is rather very, you can already feel it because of the fact that heat actually travels up. You know, the Ondor system has been proven to heat homes better, and if you actually use this, then you may be able to save on some of your heating bills, which can actually spike, especially during the winter time, right?
Yeah, it's very energy efficient. Okay, sweet. You have to turn this on first, and then that.
You have your personal humidifier right against your skin. It has to be good for your skin.
Of course.
You have to come up on here. You have to.
Yeah, it's very nice.
Take off your shoes.
Very nice, very nice.
And have some tangerines on this warm Ondor mat.
I think the tangerines might actually have gotten warmer.
I want to go underneath the rug so it's nice and warm.
So yeah, this is basically just as warm as your regular Ondor heating system, but at a much more energy efficient rate, and something that you can set up inside your apartment. Now the other cool thing is it's very light and thin, so that you're able to arrange it and adjust it depending on the size of your living space as well. Okay. Are we giving out oranges here?
Yes, we are. Minjung, your cup looks like you put some dry ice in your cup.
It looks like the coffee is scalding hot or something. All right, well, that was fun. Thank you, Jesse and Jinju.
Yeah,
thanks a lot.
Happy to be here.
All right, thank you guys for joining us on this Wednesday morning. It is a slippery one once again, so be careful out there on the roads if you are in Seoul or the surrounding provinces, and especially in the central regions.
We'll be back at 7 a.m. tomorrow. Stay warm.
Bye-bye.